What's up?
Are we discussing the pieces in between?
It's up to us. Why not? If we're inspired. I think we're live. There is a delay. Okay. Hello, hello to the world. I'm gonna plug myself in here. Hello, hello. Okay. Let us acknowledge the traditional custodians upon which the land we gather. I am on Tongva land. I am acknowledging the elders past, present, and emerging. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and will be First Nations land. We recognize the past atrocities against the first people of this land and that America was founded on the genocide and dispossession of First Nations people. Saying these words is not enough. It is only a beginning to get involved in grassroots change movements and take responsibility for building relationships and returning land. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this crazy little thing. My name is Blair, and this is a culmination of 10 weeks of astrology and art boot camp. I have been giving these 7 people weekly prompts that encourages them to investigate their charts in a creative, abstract way. And this week was a very ambitious, overwhelming prompt, which was basically, please show us the ultimate truth about your chart in its whole intensity. So the chart as a grand, powerful gesture. And so tonight, we're really honored to have you all here to basically like sit in on our last class that we're having and see what we've all conjured. We're going to see the work of Kelly Wilson, Haley Hirsch, Kat Brault, Carrie Parker, Maddie Hunt, Eva Malloy, and Christy Hedka. If you have questions that come up during the show, please type them in the chat. We're going to also be kind of like in and out of talking about our work. And if you have any comments, don't be shy to get in there. What else? Is there anything else? Am I missing anything? Okay. Let's get started. Officially, the last final show of Spacecraft. And we will begin with Kelly Wilson. Kelly, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I was having technology issues, so I hope everything works out. I'm going to share my screen now. This is my project. Are they really there to protect us then? Or are gods really there to protect us? Or does it not even fucking matter? You're gonna feel. It's gonna be a long. Every time that you text, I want to get on the next flight home. Dream next to you. Oh, is my makeup? It's 35 degrees out, and there was a homeless man at the gas station. I just said, "Ma'am, can you help me get something to eat?" Of course, they can help me get something to fucking eat. What the world do we live in? She was like, that was intense. I hope you guys heard the audio. Did you hear the audio? Good. I'm glad. I've really, really enjoyed our time together, and I'm so sad to say goodbye to this chapter. I've learned so much and I've grown a lot. And like I'm growing, and this just helped facilitate that in a really beautiful and new and unique way. And it's exactly what I needed. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for sharing so many parts of you. It was really special to witness all of your ups and downs and lefts and rights and all the joy and embodiment in your life.
That was a lot, hey? Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah, Kelly, I love how many sides of yourself you were able to show us in this one piece. And I always commend you for just like your courage and bravery and being vulnerable and just showing all of these different sides of yourself to us. That's always been one of my favorite things about your work. So thank you so much.
Hey, it was also really amazing to get like a visual on your children, you know, like that was pretty cool. And to see like there were sections of it where I was like, oh my God, she is a mermaid. Like you just looked like a mermaid. It's gorgeous.
There was something so like the parts that stood out to me the most were like the moments where you were crying, and you mentioned in the first class that you cry so much and you cried in the first class. Sorry to blast you on here.
Well, that,
But
the part where I was laughing and saying, and she was like, that was intense. And
Yeah.
I was talking about Blair. I was sending my friend a video talking about Blair's reaction to my tears.
And there's something that was like so my favorite moment was you like sobbing, like washing your straws in the like you're doing dishes and you're particularly like washing reusable straws, and there's something that's just like so like like today, like so 2022, like what am I trying to say? Like so relatable to this moment of just like sobbing at like climate catastrophe and like the state of the world while like, you know, doing the mundane chore of like cleaning your reusable straws and the like individual ways that you're trying to like be better in the world. It was really potent. I feel like I could watch you do all of your dishes while sobbing.
That's literally exactly what was happening in that moment. It was the sensory overload. And one of my things is to try to be more vulnerable to help, because those experiences are really isolating for me, but I know that I'm not alone. So it was my goal to actually like, I have a compilation of me crying for that specific reason that like one day I will put it on a public stage so that others can hear. So this is my first step to that. Thanks for noticing, everyone.
I love that. My response was going to be like, I could have a whole video that's just a compilation of you crying, like both the happy and the sad crying together in just this really great combination. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I felt so much throughout the video. Like I really felt the like ups and downs. And so it's an interesting tool for empathy.
I want to say, Kelly, too, like really feeling your moon in Cancer, because you have this shamelessness within contained spaces. Like you're in a car, you're at home with your kids, you're in pools. Like your work makes me feel of this feeling of like when you're with like a lover long enough, where your nervous system just like unfurls and you just like are loose around this person, and the shamelessness that's earned through comfort.
Thanks for noticing that. I was nervous entering this virtual space. This is the first time I've entered like a virtual group. And I was nervous because I'm an experience to feel. Like I create an energy around me. And I was like really nervous that how I would engage in this space. And I would like to say, like, you guys really made it so easy for me to do that. So thanks so much. And thanks, Blair, for all of your amazing insights. It's been magical.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, yes. All right, let's keep the magic rolling. How about we see what's up with Haley Hirsch?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to also share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes? Great. The sound should be working because I'm not wearing my AirPods. Okay. Let's do this. And that's it. I think the meaning was pretty obvious, and I'll leave it up to interpretation, but we'll see if you get it right. I'm kidding. Yeah. Thank you for watching.
You know, once again, Haley, you look so different. But maybe it was the mustache. I don't know. Nice work.
I love how the music was calm, but so much abrupt, like stuff was happening, movements, like you were fluid in some movements, but then so abrupt. And then I just always, your ability to express energy, like you just always have, I feel like you just always have so much. And I love that about you. I'm so jealous about you. Like I think you're ending the hardcore rock and roll is so much more. You should have done more of that energy.
I just needed to include Enya because we have the same birthday, and that feels astrologically significant. So she needed to be a part of the last project, but
I'm gonna miss how upbeat I feel whenever you talk and share.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
Haley, how much was improvised and how much was like scored or planned or yeah?
I had one thing that I knew it was gonna do was that I was gonna dress up like a British man and smash a watermelon. And that's all I knew what was gonna happen. The plant came in at first and I was like, okay. And that felt fun and germinal. But yeah, other than that, it was mainly, I guess, yeah, it was mainly improvisational. And then my dog showed up. Yeah.
Haley, I loved all those earthy elements with the watermelon and the plant. Hey, and I mean, all those cuts and everything were really funny. But I think my favorite thing about it was how you were going with this certain vibe, and then you sort of let the seams show at the end, where it was like you had these distinct characters that sort of merged, and everything got messy, literally and figuratively. And you also showed yourself like cleaning up from it. And I feel like you showed your performer selves, but also like, you know, kind of like the messier parts that are like, am I performing now? I don't know. I don't know. And then I loved all of your physicality when you're doing some of those more dancerly things at the beginning. Like once again, like Kelly, I feel like you were able to show so many different sides of yourself and your abilities in one very small piece. It was super fun.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Haley.
Yeah, what everyone else has said, and I also love how you kind of teased these themes of gender and identity and like self-expression and like strong emotions and violence, and I don't know, there was a lot to kind of read into it. So I'm very curious to hear your what it meant. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Thank you.
I mean, I think I was just like, it helped me a lot with this daunting project to try or this daunting prompt to just sort of turn that on its head and just automatically upfront say, this is an extremely important thing that you're about to watch. And so anything that comes after that would just feel, I don't know, that I was, I mean, we were talking last week about Pluto and failure and loss, and that's just like, no matter what I do, I'm going to fail. No matter, like, there's no way I can make something that incredible in a week's time. So I just have to try as best as I can, knowing that what I'm going to create is going to be a complete failure. Yeah. Thank you, Maddie.
Haley, I like this 6-house stellium statement you just made, which is like, what's simple and boring is enough. And I think your chart and this character you chose is such, it's like this unassuming goof. Like your chart has this life is art kind of vibe to it. That's where I'm going to stop there. Yeah. Unassuming goof.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. And who do we have next? Is it Cat? Cat Brault, here we go.
Sorry, I was typing stuff into the chat for Haley. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I too felt daunted by the prompt and had these like big ideas that didn't come to fruition, and then I just ended up focusing on kind of like one element of my chart. But I'm gonna stop talking about it and just show you. Okay. There's no sound, so don't worry if you don't hear it, because you're not supposed to. Oh, it's the wrong one. Okay. Do you see this one? Okay. I guess there was a little sound. I lied a little bit. I didn't realize it would be so loud, the marker on the mirror. And yeah.
Those shots in the alley of like you as like a Mercury, I'm guessing, a Hermes type character, and then the reverse shot of that like bloody like fashion photo shoot, like visceral guts creature. I just like the way you did that was really powerful. That was my favorite part of that piece. And slime is always appreciated. I don't know. I just think you have an incredible ability in video, even just with those lock off shots, you know, just to create that kind of gut punch right there. I thought that was really powerful.
Thanks, Christy. It's I envisioned it as like a old Western standoff. What are those called? Yeah, standoff / horror film of my Mars Saturn opposition that are both in like detriment and fall, and I don't know. Which is why I feel like it doesn't encapsulate my full chart, because I have this like massive Aquarius stellium, as these folks know, and none of that really made it in super much. But yeah.
When I saw them in the alleyway, I was like, oh shit, battle royale. I was like prepared for stuff to go down. Kat, I love watching your work. And it always feels like a ritual to me, how much time you focus and prepare. And like, the way you come across is always so like poignant. And I love how, sorry about my phone, I'm trying to ignore it. I love how you work in the absence of sound too, because this isn't the first project that you've had that hasn't had sound. And you always make it so interesting. And I'm gonna really miss being part of the weekly Cat fan club as well.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, and I really like, I loved the idea of the slime and the blood and the mercury, like kind of like weird out, like naturally elemental, and the colors, you know. And like the bloody witch in the alley reminded me, I think there's like a kind of witch in Italy. I think they're called the strega. I don't know what they're called. But they kind of look like that. And also like it's just so awesome or amazing to see you dance. And like the mercury things was interesting to me, because I was like, are they like letting her fly, or are they like kind of like keeping her contained? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like as a dancer, it's like there's always that question. Yeah. And it's also like so sophisticated. Like it's so high quality, and the imagery, I don't know. Nice work. It's gorgeous.
Thanks, Carrie.
Your green hair also matched. I don't know if you planned this. Your green matched the hedges at the final shot, and the black was also matched the shadows. And it was this beautiful thing of you. It almost was like you were going back into the hedge, like you were merging. And I disagree. I feel like, especially I love how the consistency that you've used with the stop motion medium for all of your videos. I feel like that's very Aquarian, and I feel like your stellium did show up your Aquarius stellium did very much show up in this piece. I thought you tying your docks with the wire, that was probably supposed to be Saturn, but that's okay. I mean, to me that was like, oh, you know, here they go. The Aquarius stellium goes off into town to a Saturnian standoff, as they do. Yeah, I really felt your Aquarius stellium come through, which I think, as always happens with these projects, it's just going to come through anyway, whether or not you try. So, yeah, and I echo what Kelly said. Your work is so inspiring, and each week it's made me want to, you know, try and experiment new things and making videos. And every time I see, I'm like, God, I got to up my game. You really raised the bar with video work. So yeah, I'm gonna miss seeing your work every week.
I feel the same way about your acting and comedy, Haley. So it's like we're in mutual reception or something. I don't know.
I agree with what Haley said. I think maybe you didn't set out to, you know, your goal, your objective was maybe this, the opposition, but, you know, you did it in a very Aquarian way, you know, so it totally showed up. And I really noticed the color, right? Like and the red green opposition, right? Like those opposites on the color wheel also. And your hair and the moss and like the mirror shot. I really loved that you could see the green bushes out the window and sort of like the three greens kind of parallel to each other. And yeah, and the red, oh man, that red yarn guts was very impressive. So thank you and great job. All your work has been lovely.
Kat, if I may, I wanted to say one more thing about the horror cowboy stand up in the alley, which is that like the way you framed your characters, like if this was a different kind of standoff, you'd have like one on the left side of the screen and the other on the other side of the screen, but they were both exactly in the center, to the point where if you had chosen a different transition, it could be like one becoming the other. And I feel like they're like in such communication, and they have so much, like the way that they communicated in the frame, I felt like they have a lot in common in a way, even though you were contrasting them. That just kind of struck me. So really cool work. Thank you, Kat.
Mm-hmm. Cat, yeah, maybe it's the color of your hair, but I'm like, oh yeah, Cat is like some kind of 90s Nickelodeon reincarnation infused with melodrama. Like if Ren and Stimpy like grew up and like took their lives seriously finally, or I don't know. Just all this Aquarius in the fourth house too, like the experience of growing up watching Nickelodeon like in my room by myself, like so fourth house Aquarius. Taking me places. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Who will take us somewhere next? Carrie Parker.
Hi. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so tonight, we're gonna have story time with Auntie Carrie. And the first story is gonna be a story that was written with a left hand. There's gonna be two. So this first story is called The Kitty Cat and the Wolf. And this is what it looks like. The wolf said, I'm hungry and I like the way I look when I'm wild. The kitty cat said, me too, and I have blue eyes that see and tiny pink ears that hear and delicious fur that feels. The wolf said, I have teeth. The kitty cat said, me too, and a tiny pink tongue to lick, lick, lick. The wolf said, I have paws with claws like knitting needles. The kitty cat said, me too. My claws are tiny and specific. The wolf moved closer to the fire. The wolf was bleeding. The kitty cat snuggled in. Not too close to the humans, but close enough to the wolf to lick the blood off his paws. Then she jumped on his back and chewed a hole behind his heart. The end. So that's story number 1. Story number 2 is written with the right hand, and this is what it looks like. And this story is called Plague Days, and it's a memory from the future. I'm gonna take my glasses off. The architects built structures out of the ashes and bones of the people that had died in the pandemic. The buildings were structural vaccines protected by the dead. They were safe spaces for the people to live when the virus resurrected itself. The generation of humans that came from the architects understood water. The water began to respond to gravity in a more aggressive way. The surface water went deeper underground. Water became something subversive and even more necessary. The water that lived in the sky stayed up there. Humans began to realize that the elements were not to be taken for granted. You had to ask the rain to come down, and then you had to say thanks in a way that was honest. People would make dances for the rain. The ocean stayed where it was. The ocean remained an extroverted presence on the surface, but only on the surface. The imperialists continued on with their ice mines at the poles. The glaciers were long gone, but the polar ice caps were strong. The pacifists spent a lot of time and energy strategizing. The anarchists continued to help each other out. Sunflowers became sacred. Moonflowers became sacred. The light of the moon took on a different kind of power, and people paid attention. The end.
Carrie, why is this the first time we've heard your writing? This is so incredible. It was so wonderful to hear not just your voice, but to hear your writing. It was so beautiful. And so poetic. I loved I loved both stories. The first story reminded me of like it was like one of those stories that's maybe written for kids, but maybe not written for kids. But I read it as a kid, and I'm not knowing if I'm supposed to be reading this, but I'm going to remember it forever because I really like it. It's one of those transitional stories into the, how things really are. I don't know. It was just so incredible, and also just amazing that you wrote it with your left hand. That's gonna confound me for a bit. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Gary. I can't believe that was the first time we heard your writing. I'm floored.
Thank you.
Same. I agree with Haley. And I love the experiment of the right and left hands, and just such different tones and different themes. And I mean, also, right, I guess the prompt being kind of like all of our chart, our whole chart, right? And so it's like you really showed different aspects of your creative voice, and you know, the different, I don't know, layers and ages and sensibilities. So it's really powerful and profound stories too. Fables, kind of.
Yeah, thank you. I have to say, I felt kind of guilty that I wasn't making a dance, but it seemed like the whole point is to like get the whole thing, like not just what like we always do, and to be able to share it is really something special, I think.
I echo what Haley and Maddie said. I thought your writing was gorgeous. And I like the first story felt so sensual. And the second story felt very prophetic. And they both felt like contemporary fairy tales that have a quality of feeling really ancient. And I know you've also shared that you've broken both of your arms in the past year. And so the fact that you wrote them physically with both feels like an act of healing somehow. I'm really blown, and it felt witchy, which I love when you infuse your witchiness in your work. I could name a bunch of authors that it reminded me of, but it was also kind of distinctly you. And I was really glad to get to hear your writing. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Carrie, it's been like such an honor to witness you like unfold in front of us, because I'm really exposing everyone. In the first class, you didn't even want to do the introduction exercise as a fear of like performing or like being seen by us in a certain like there it's always been kind of it started here, and like to see your pieces each week get more and more, I feel like I have witnessed them get more and more like explorative and vulnerable, and then for this final piece to be like, dance is so ephemeral and so abstract, and like really leaves a lot of the interpretation up to the viewers, which like writing does in a different way, but like to really like hear your specific words and like your specific voice felt like this kind of like full circle moment, like a full blooming of you for us over the past 10 weeks. And I really enjoyed it. Really beautiful, echoing what everyone's saying. But so thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I also really wanted to just say, like, it still did feel like one of your dances, both what you were writing in itself, but also just like the way that you're presenting your writing, the way that you introduced your writing, and showed it in each step. When you finished reading, I wasn't even sure, like I wasn't sure if you were finished with the piece or just finished reading. And so I was kind of like sitting there, and yeah, it was really fun to see that and to see the connections of just everything that you're creating. Thank you. Yeah.
I also want to echo what Kat was saying, that I didn't have to interpret you this week, but I feel like I've always been intrigued by you, full stop. And this just like makes me want to get to know you more too, because you are literally always so surprising me. You're so unique. And Christiane had mentioned that you always bring an element of your witchiness to your work. And I felt that when you were reading your second piece, I was like, no, you're so powerful. Why are you writing this dystopian future? And then as you were finishing, I felt like, well, maybe that future isn't so bad. Like, bad stuff happened, but people are are feeling the power of the moon again. So like even in the you make me think, and I love that about you. And I'm gonna miss you every week as well.
Yep, yep. Same. Carrie, I feel like you just like filled in the gaps of your chart with what you never could say. And finally, like now it's whole in the way that Kat said. And it was a score. It was a dance score. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Maddie, how you doing?
Ah, I'm muted. I'm doing great. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I made a fortune teller, cootie catcher interactive game for us to play. I will share my screen just so you can see kind of more close up the picture, yeah, like what it looks like. So this is actually work in progress because then I added the symbols, but these are the signs that I have planets in and my North Node. And then, hold on. We have, yes, then archetypes on the inside to choose from that I feel like are reflected in my chart that I identify with. And then, well, the inside is a mystery, but you'll see if someone wants to ask it a question. Oh, quick hand, Kelly. All right. So if you want to share your question out loud, that'd be great. But if you want to keep it in your head, that's fine too. It's up to you.
Do you have like, what kind of question am I asking? Just
I would say maybe like, what do I need to know about something, or a yes or no question.
Well, Pluto, I heard, is coming to fuck shit up for fixed signs in the next 6 months. So what do I need to do to connect better with Pluto to not be so disrupted? Or maybe do I need to be disrupted? Yeah, maybe that's it. Here we go. Do I need to be
Okay. Does Pluto need to disrupt you? Well, let's see. And maybe it'll just say something general about, Pluto in your life. So, all right. You can choose from Scorpio, Taurus, Cancer, Capricorn, Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, or Aries. Taurus. Taurus. Okay. You can choose from bon vivant, artist, lover, or mystic.
Mystic.
Okay. So the question again, relating to Pluto, the answer is take a breath and reconsider. So I don't know if that speaks to you. Huh?
My question was all over the place too, wasn't it?
Well, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I don't know. Do we have time for one more, Blair? Or yeah, anyone else got a burning question? Christy. Oh, yeah, Christy. I saw Christy's hand first.
What project should I focus on next?
Okay, so just reminding you, it's kind of more on the yes, no answer. So if you have one in your mind, maybe.
I kind of want to just ask that.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's see what it comes up for you. Okay, So Cancer, Taurus, Aries, Gemini, Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces, Sagittarius.
Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay. Then you have warrior, teacher, detective, and player.
Detective.
Okay. So detective says, if not you, who?
Exactly. Okay, that helps a lot.
Yay! Awesome.
Right?
Oh my God, tell us later the project. Or now if you want. Cool. All right, I saw Haley's hand, so I'm gonna just do one really quick, and then I'll take, you don't have to give me any comments or whatever. It's okay.
Sorry, I don't actually have a burning question, but I really just want to say, but I can ask a question really fast.
You can or you can't?
Can, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Will I get paid doing what I love this year?
Will Haley get paid doing what she loves this year? Great question. All right, Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces, Sagittarius, Aries, Gemini.
Pisces.
Pisces. Did I write that? Did I spell it wrong? P-I-S? Yeah. Okay, detective, player, warrior, teacher.
Player.
You can do it.
I knew it. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, fortune teller. Awesome.
Cool. The end. Thank you.
That was so fun. I feel like we got to meet Mystery one more time.
Yeah, maybe. Also teacher a little bit too, like, Leo, midheaven, star.
Maddie, I see your moon in Cancer opposite Mars in Capricorn so much in everything you do. Like we're playing this like game, Mars and Capricorn strategy thing. And then the moon in your ninth house in Cancer, like we're like the game is made up of your chart, and like it's like this personal experience of yours is the advice that you're giving.
Oh, wow. Huh. Thank you. That's cool.
And also, like you're tapped in, but you're sort of like allowing other people to tap in through like your viewpoint, but also let them have their own independence within it. It's kind of interesting, I think. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, thank you.
I was just going to say, I'm so blown away that you made a game, because I think that there's something really magical about playing. And especially as artists, I feel like our whole society is built around doing things for money and to be productive, and to make something that is just for fun. Maybe, maybe it's a form of divination as well. But I think playing and games are sacred and should be more sacred and should be recognized for the value that they have in our lives. And I feel like it's artists that actually do recognize the value of play. I think there's something really profound and magical about the fact that you created your own game with your own rules. And there's like this sort of world building that goes into it that's really powerful.
Thank you.
Super cool.
Well, Blair's mentioned a lot sort of this idea of play and games and like kind of also physical activities, but yeah, so I guess that's from this class I've kind of like learned more or kind of recognized that more about myself, and I guess I wanted to kind of lean into it for this. When it came to me, it was like, yeah, then that's aligned with what Blair's been saying. So that's been a cool, I guess, experience coming from this class. Thanks.
I also really liked hearing it felt very spell-like. No pun intended. Felt very spell-like hearing you spell out the different zodiac signs. It was almost kind of like a cheer. And which felt very, which I guess is also probably I'd have to ask Blair. I guess that's probably also a form of a spell. Cheerleaders are just little witches on the sidelines. So there was just something very like cool and intimate about it that felt like, and I loved that the ending, especially like for mine, like you can do it. Like the whole thing just felt like a little, it's like it's like a pump up divination tool to like help your friends. And it's just like let's all come together. And I loved that there's an invitation to get involved. Yeah, it was super fun.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for your participation too. Thanks everyone.
I just want to add something really quick. Last week, or maybe it wasn't last week, it was the week before, when you were looking in the mirror and you were doing the face routine, and I said, were you channeling your ancestors? And you said, no, that's not where my head was at. And then I felt that again today. Like I just felt like through your active divination that you had a deep like ancestral magic that you could access. And I just typed it in the chat that like your magic seemed so effortless. And then I just heard Blair mention that you have your Cancer moon and you're a Taurus sun, similar to me. And I think that's the vibe that I was picking up on this whole time. That's all I kept, I feel that from you.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a deep, steady, grounded one. Calm. Mother.
All right. The oracle has spoken. You can do it. Thank you, Maddie. How's it going, Eva?
Hello, hi. I will share my screen. Hopefully my dog doesn't start freaking out. She's been freaking out. Alrighty, I'm sharing. I think it's also. Oh, wait. That's not it. Okay.
My name is Eva Malloy, and I'm here to talk to you about linguistic relativity. Linguistic relativity is still heavily debated today. This proposed study examines potential effects of linguistic relativism in determining color naming by looking at categorical advantages and the Irish color term gloss. Gloss is a true Brew color term used in indigenous Celtic languages that has persisted to modern times. Its presence questions Lindsay and Brown's 2003 lens brunescence theory of Brew color terms. Keywords for this study include linguistic relativism, categorical advantage, lens brunescence, as I was saying, lens theory, and indigenous languages. We hope to use this study to examine possible effects of language development on body cognition and our relationship to the earth and environment around us. Why don't we just show you? Here's a flower for your participation.
Yep, so that was my piece. I was also very stressed and didn't know how to combine the pieces, but like kept going through it and then just came to this, and so I went with it.
I love it because at first it was plastic and it was so sterile. And then, and then you just surprised me. And I feel like that's the case with you always, because sometimes I feel like you come to class and they have you pinned as like just really calm, like even the way you talk is just like it's here. But then your work shows up and you just surprise me. Like all the time. And then I also wrote down, like, why are you shouting? I can't focus when you're trying to tell me something, because you all know I'm curious and I want to know what you were saying, but I couldn't hear at all anything. I'm gonna miss you so much, Eva.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Your insights are always really, really loving and wonderful.
I just have to say that there's something about your work that's like to me, it's really scary. I mean, like it's not super scary, but it's like, oh my God, is this super fucked up, or is like what is happening? Do you know what I mean? Like with the time that you embroidered your skin, I will never forget that. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I don't know what it's like for you. Like, I don't know if it's like part of your pleasure or like fulfillment to like express that way. But to me, like seeing a young woman kind of like, and I heard an echo, it was kind of like you were in a bathroom or you were like in this like weird like place full of plastic. And then all of a sudden there's like tomatoes being thrown at you. It's like, it's scary. But the other thing that it makes me think of is I had a job that was a highfalutin job. It was a ballet job in Austria. And like if they didn't like the show, they would throw tomatoes at us. They would throw like tomatoes and iceberg lettuces. So that's what it also kind of reminded me of. It also made me go back to like your first piece or your first few pieces where like I really wondered about like who the people were. Like in these images, like it's so personal and like intimate, it's really like three-dimensional in really bizarre ways. Thank you. Gorgeous work.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Lots to think about. And I think the scariness makes a little bit of sense. Thanks. Also, that's just really cool about, or not cool, horrible and weird that that's like actually done in Australia.
No, not Australia, Austria, like Vienna.
Oh,
I thought it was
Austria.
cool.
Okay.
Like the Vienna State Opera Ballet, like so highfalutin, and like people throw shit at the performers. I thought it was kind of amazing.
That's so wild. Wow. Okay. Wow.
It's a lot of planning, like, oh, don't forget your tomatoes and iceberg lettuce before you go to the show.
Totally.
And they let you in the theater with like tomatoes. That's really amazing. I fully agree with everything Carrie and Kelly said. I feel like everything you've shown us, Eva, has always been new, including tonight, where it's just like a completely new side of you. It was fun to see you perform. But I'm with Carrie, where there was like, I was like, is this like a Patrick Bateman, like American Psycho moment? And it also reminded me of the Tomato Festival, and We Need to Talk About Kevin, where she's in this like orgiastic tomato world that sort of foreshadows like massacre kind of. So there's something like dark as a subtext, which makes it even kind of more insidious in a fun way. But you know, your images and everything are so beautiful, and your performance was really fun, and it was this combination of really kind of disparate elements. Yeah, I'm really gonna miss seeing your work. I'm always like so inspired and surprised. Thank you, Eva.
Yeah, every week there's a side of you where I'm just like, whoa, you're gnarly. And it's just, which is such a good way. Yeah, and I love how you're so it's inspiring to see like how willing you are to show like your you know, the tomatoes, and even last week with Uncle Walt, who, by the way, I thought about many times over the last week and just laughed to myself. Just the name Uncle Walt, the rat Disney man, and just how willing you are just to like, I mean, quite literally what you were doing in that video, just shoving your hand and, you know, jiggling the carcass, the organs of that dead animal. It was like you just go there, and it's really inspiring and really scary. And there's part of it's like, oh, I want to go, I want to do that. And then there's part of it that's like, maybe I'll just let Eva do that, and we can watch. Yeah, but you're kick ass. Please keep being kick ass. Yeah, that's it.
I think I really felt your Mercury and Taurus coming through, because I mean, just everything was super sensual, like in the sense of like senses, you know, like the squishing tomato seeds, and like the video montage. There were so many things that were like, I could just feel on somehow, like on a tactile level. So I can really see how that Mercury and Taurus really grounds you, and kind of like also it's like an expression of like earth and touch and feel. And I can't remember, is your Venus in the 8th house? No.
My Venus is not, it's in the 10th house, but I do have my Mars and Saturn in the 8th house.
I think that also felt very present, like how you're doing it, right? That's the Mars, maybe, or I don't know. But thank you.
Eva, are you a Gemini? No, you have Gemini something.
So Gemini is my 10th house with my midheaven, and then also my moon and my Venus. Yeah, so I feel like I relate a lot to the Gemini section of my chart with that moon in there. Totally. And with that Venus ruling my sun and Mercury, which is the ruler of my chart. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, well, I was happy to see those video clips again. I know it was just like a snippet of like a previous project that you shared with us, but it was really nice to see it come back. 'Cause like I feel like, okay, what am I trying to say? Like I feel like so often the pieces that we see are super internal of yours, and like super like intimate and private, and just like very like internal processing. So, and that video stands out as being like your external experience of the world. And so it was just nice to see that again and to see that side of you. And I also am just, I agree with what everyone's saying. It's like you're this like secret freak. You've got this like kind of like dark, scary side to you. But then I think about how we experience you in this Zoom room where you always have this like fluffy dog and you just like are kind of quiet and like unassuming. But then we get to like see, then this is where the Gemini was coming. Like I was like, what is this Gemini situation? Like, you know, like, yeah, just there's such a duality there of this like soft presentation of your external self, but then we see your like freaky inner weird world, and it's super fun. I enjoy seeing it, so thanks for sharing it with us and freaking us all out a little bit.
Mhm. I think too, like the backdrop, like the ballroom, like there's like weird visuals, I think, I guess for everyone, just like seeing where people live, like but the ballroom and like Eva, your house is sort of like bizarrely, it's kind of like Baroque, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it also adds to the whole vibe of the scariness of your work. I
I'm thinking about your piece where you were maybe going to be a marionette thing or do a marionette thing, and I'm like, is this dog real? Is this dog a marionette puppet? It could just be like one long form performance art that you've been doing this whole class. I don't know. No, she's very cute.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like we should check in on Eva when Jupiter enters Aries in May to enter their 8th house. Any last words? Thank you, Eva. Okay, last but not least, Christy.
It me. Kat has generously agreed to play my video, and you can go ahead and play it. There should be no sound. The cinematography isn't great. I didn't get a chance to clean it up at all. It's just a way for you to see a thing that I made.
Do you see it?
I see it. That should be it. And you can't really see it, but I just made my chart basically, and the planets are little rubies because I have Leo rising, and rubies are the Leo birthstone. So I made my chart as a spider web with a spider. Because I had a lot of golden thread left over from the embroidery project. And I just love spiders and what they represent. And so much of my reading every week was about storytelling. And I always just think of spinning tales. And my favorite thing about spiders is that, well, two things. Their webs, like if their webbing was, it's like stronger than stainless steel or like than steel, it's crazily strong. And like to a spider, her web is a trap for what she wants. But for her, her web is roads, and she's kind of making her own roads. So that was my inspo.
I'm really amazed by the craftsmanship. And I feel like Mercury really shines through in that, just with that really powerful forward. It's in Leo, your Mercury, or okay.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous craftsmanship. Yeah.
It
Beautiful.
was really tedious. It was really hard to see. I can't see very well.
And your 12th house Virgo sun?
12th house Cancer sun.
Cancer sun. Okay, I have to think for a second.
But also, weren't we talking last week about like your Pluto's in Saturn? Or not, sorry. Your Pluto is close to Saturn. I can't remember where, but we were talking about gemstones last week. Is it the third house or the fourth house? Third house. Yeah, I feel like everything that you make is so beautiful. Like all of it, gorgeous. And like looking at that little spider, I couldn't tell if it was real or not. I kind of felt bad for the spider. But also the spider looked like it was made out of silver. Like everything is made out of like precious metals or something. Really interesting. It also made me think of like the story of Arachne, you know, who like she was better than Athena. She was better than one of the goddesses at weaving. And I think that Athena, even though she is supposed to be living in a female body, it's super patriarchal. So I feel like all of the people that Athena fucked over were really like underlying like goddesses, like older, way older than the myths that we learned in school. It also made me think about the web of like, sorry, I'm like super into this, but like the web of the universe, the web of the cosmos, like the web of creativity and like the weird vibrations that happen, and having gemstones as the planets is like, it's such a gorgeous idea. So beautiful.
Thank you, Carrie.
Nice work. Gorgeous.
Yeah, the spider, like when I started shopping for this stuff, like, because I went and bought a hoop and some wire, and like spiders started showing up everywhere. Like that night I screamed because that giant spider like dropped out from the medicine cabinet. So they're showing up for me. But I love your insights, Carrie. Thank you.
I'm going to really piggyback off of what Carrie was just saying, because I was also, I got the story of the Weaver too. And then I even got what you were saying about how it's interconnected, because like I was noticing that even the trees' roots or the branches or vines or whatever it was around that. And then there was just this lush background, and I just felt like everything, I felt interconnected in that moment. And I feel that so often in your presence. Did you say that you can't see, you have a problem with seeing? Is that what you just said?
I'm partially blind in this eye, so yeah, I can't see very well.
That's so cool, because I view you, or I perceive you as like all seeing and all knowing on like all things, because you always have such profound insights, and you always have this like little bit of knowledge that you carry with you all the way. Like you're always sowing seeds of knowledge, which is your strong Mercury placement. Now that I didn't keep track of the astrology, I'm just so intrigued to like perceive all of you and like consume all of you and your work. And then I just wanted to say, because your Pluto in Libra was brought up, right? It's Libra. And I had this when you bound those objects for their own safety, and I just felt like I felt sad during your piece. Sad, but make it pretty. And like I've seen that in your work before as well. I'm really gonna miss being in your presence. It's been such an honor to like experience you.
Wow, thank you, Kelly. Those are such amazing words to hear. You guys are the best. I'm gonna miss all of you too.
Kelly, did you say that you thought Christy's piece looked like an eye? No,
It didn't, but
no.
it makes sense.
That's what I thought. I saw just an eye, and it felt like it could be, and it felt very much like a tool for you as someone who's a storyteller and a screenwriter. That's just like this magnifying glass where and it was fun just to see it. Like it looked, I mean, obviously it was the chart, it was the 12 thing, and it was just, I almost wanted you to like pick it up and, you know, like look, kind of look through it, and that's how you see the world. It's just like through your chart. Almost like one of those submarine, like I'm thinking of one of those like submarine magnifying glasses or something.
Yeah, like a lens.
Yeah, a lens. Yes, exactly, a lens. So beautiful, such incredible work. And yeah, I'm gonna miss your storytelling, and I'm gonna miss. I still think about the perfume piece that you wrote, and I want you to make that into something that wouldn't. And also we still need a list of movies from you, movie recommendations, because you have listed more movies than I think I've ever seen in my life. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Haley. Well, maybe you can help me with the perfume short. If you feel like being a confused perfume shopper. Thank you so much.
These are all just a bunch of concepts, and I'm gonna say them and try to string them together with words. So I'm going to talk about Star Trek again too. So in Star Trek Discovery, which is the newest one that they're making right now, the first season they travel the universe through the mycelial network. Yeah, you should watch it. It's good.
The Mushroom Network?
Yes, but you never like see it, but it's like they like jump through time and space through traveling the mycelial network. And so I feel like that's the starting point, and then this piece is like the network of roads, which you mentioned. It's like the mycelial network, but it's like it's like the metal road, precious metal current road network that you travel through your brain to like, and then within that, like all these little like nuggets of like precious gemstone like planets are the like, I feel like you have such a massive knowledge base, which is what everyone keeps talking about. Like you can like be like, oh yes, this movie or this thing or like that, have you thought of that? Like you're able to like travel these precious metal roads to get these like nuggets of amazingness to like share with people. This is what it's making me think of. That was all the concepts that I'm trying to string together. And I wanted to say one more thing. Oh, and it was also really, I feel like we got to see you work with so many mediums throughout this process. And the very first one was something that you like made with your hands and you like constructed. And this like last one was too. And we love a full circle. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kat. A couple of you have said that I have all this knowledge, and like whenever I'm in class with you guys, I feel like I know nothing because you guys are all so smart and amazing. And I'm like, geez, I really need to step up my game. But also wanted to point out, Kat, that you started out by saying you wanted to string words together, which right? It's the weaving and the storytelling. Like it always comes back to like weaving in a weird way. Me. But I love that image of the mycelium network. And Carrie, you're always pointing out that I'm making art about my nervous system, which I never see until you point it out. But I'm gonna jump ahead of you on this one after Kat pointing out the mycelium network.
Nice. That's true.
I also think that like it was kind of like the idea this piece was like the idea of like maybe a dream catcher or something, or I don't know. I also think that like you, everything is just so gorgeous. Everything is so gorgeous and beautiful. Like even like the beginning, like with that fish, you know, like when we go back to like the first one, it's really interesting. Which to me is weird because like you're a script writer. So you like make movies. Maybe that's not weird. I don't know. Anyways, it's so beautiful.
Thank you, Kate.
I just wanted to say quickly that for me, what came to mind as I was looking at it was a life, like a life, starting from the center and sort of like spiraling outwards. And so just, yeah, beautiful metaphor for a lifetime. It's lovely.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you guys so much. It's been so amazing being a part of this class.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. We are at the top of the hour, so we will say goodbye to our viewers. Thank you all for watching. Yep.
Ask one more thing.
Yes, please.
Tell Eva when we were looking at her Uranus that she was like a plastic manic sex robot. Was that the insight you gave her?
Sounds like something I'd say.
Because I was
Does Eva remember?
I was muted. I don't remember that, but it could work.
I'm just sorry. I'm just thinking back to your piece and like there was the plastic on the wall, and then you ended with a makeout scene, and I was just like, it's crazy how Blair, your insights are like literal sometimes, you know?
Yeah, astrology does that sometimes, for better or for worse. Okay, y'all. Thank you, viewers. Until next time, be well.